A magistrate is expected to decide the fate of former Free National Movement Senator John Bostwick Jr. in a few weeks. Bostwick is the son of former parliamentarians Henry and Janet Bostwick. John Bostwick is accused of having 10 live rounds of 22mm ammunition in his possession last year in Freeport. When Bostwick previously took the stand in his defense, he testified that after a magazine with bullets in it was pulled from his bag at an airport security checkpoint, he had, in his words, a feeling of total and absolute disbelief. His first thought then and now is that he had been, quote, set up. Magistrate Andrew Forbes will deliver his decision on the case on December 16th. Also from the courts, legal discussions are taking place again today in the Kurt McCartney murder trial. McCartney was shot and killed back in October of 2013. McCartney is the brother of DNA leader Branville McCartney. An anonymous witness testified earlier that he saw who shot and killed McCartney back on October 24th, 2013. Thorne Edwards, O'Kale Farrington, Lindira Curry, and Sumya Ingram are accused of killing Kurt McCartney. Terry Delancey is accused of accessory after the fact. Roger Thompson and Cephia Pinder-Moss both are prosecuting the case. Terrell Butler, Ian Cargill, Ramona Farquharson Seymour, Sonia Timothy, and Philip Hilton make up the defense.
Police confirming tonight that 27-year-old Canadian visitor Samantha Love Ridge, who was reported missing, has been found earlier today in good health. Authorities said in the Daily Crime Report that she was a passenger on board the Oasis of the Seas that arrived in New Providence this past Sunday. According to police, the Canadian visitor apparently missed the boat and was left here in Nassau. The Bahamas is among 3 countries of the Caribbean region chosen to participate in the first cycle of a social crime prevention program. The initiative, which also includes the countries of Trinidad and Suriname, is focused on building bridges and better communications and relations between law enforcement and stakeholders with communities. The Resistance and Prevention Program, or RAP, better equips participants who work directly with youth and more specifically at-risk youth. Workshop facilitator Police Sergeant 2602 Leonardo Barrow says this week-long training workshop, which started on Monday, is also taking place simultaneously on Exuma, Grand Bahama, and Eleuthera.
Poverty, unemployment, lack of parental supervision, the lack of love, and when these things exist, you find a lot of young people gravitating towards criminal behavior. Case in point, if a young man isn't educated and he doesn't have the skills to find a job, then what will he resort to? Crime. And so when you look at that root cause and you're able to get in and find the help that young man needs, then he is more equipped to do some worthwhile things with his life as opposed to staring to crime. This is important because if we don't look at our challenges in relation to crime from the social aspect of things, then we are actually going to lose.
The training seminar is being spearheaded by the Pan American Development Foundation and funded by the United States Department of Narcotics and Law Enforcement Bureau. The technical advisor is Roberto Obando.
The center of the first phase of each intervention is the training course. During the training course, facilitators that were accredited by U.S. experts share their lessons, their practices, their experience with program participants in the Bahamas. At the end of the course, and somewhat throughout the course, participants start developing their own community action plans. Community action plan is a series of interventions that could happen in a community. Could be something as small as a program in a high school, and it could be bigger too. And the purpose is to address needs at the local level. So what are the needs that a community is facing, and how can we bring together public and private and NGOs together to solve those needs?
A candlelight vigil to honor the memories of those who have lost the fight with HIV was held last night on the eve of World AIDS Day. President of the Bahamas AIDS Foundation, Camille Lady Barnett, says this is the first candlelight ceremony that they will have.
Tonight was our first candlelight vigil commemorating those persons who have died from AIDS-related causes and those people who are living with HIV and AIDS. And it's an inaugural event because we plan to do it every year. It went wonderfully well. We lit candles in the shape of the ribbon, and then we let go balloons. And we didn't have a lot of people, but I think those people who were there knew the importance of being there, and so that's what's important.
Registered nurse Natasha Penniman is a member of the Bahamas AIDS Foundation, and she says her advocacy work is not just about those infected with HIV, but also their families and friends.
There's a lot of stigma and discrimination that is attached to HIV. So because I may be friends with or I may be living with somebody that is HIV positive, it's automatically assumed that I am of the same status, when necessarily it doesn't have to be so. So you have a lot of persons who end up being discriminated against just because they were associated with somebody that had the disease.